Delusions of grandeur, insanity, sure, there's plenty of that. But here's what you can also hear on the Nice Guys on Business.
Well, if you're not a good marketer, you're probably going to lose your investment. I think that the more your marketing ability and social media ability suffers, the more you need an accountant and lawyer to protect what you're going to be investing.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a great marketer and social media person, I still think you need to talk to those people. But putting money into accounting and legal is the best investment you can make. But you have to find out, social proof-wise, that these people are really effective. That's a very important thing.
So, Joy, have you ever been to a Turkish prison? Do you like gladiator movies? The Nice Guys want to know. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. It is a new week. It is Monday. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing great. And I'm loving that it's not only Monday, but it is now we're a full week into the new year. And now we're really just getting into the beef of the year. Because I think that first week, does anybody ever pay attention to the first week of January? It's like all the resolutions that came and went and never happened. Do you feel like this was the first week that there's actually some legit work going on in the new year?
Yeah, I definitely feel that way. Absolutely.
So, I felt like this was a good way to start the new year. We got a guy that's on the show today, old friend of mine. His name is Ken Rochon. He runs a company, founder of an organization called the Umbrella Syndicate. Pretty cool.
Sounds very mobbish, yeah.
Yeah, the last thing that I think Ken would be is a member of the mob.
That's definitely
true. He runs his mouth a lot, so I don't think the mob would like to have Ken as a part of their organization.
No, Ken is a good guy. I've known him for a lot of years as well. And the Umbrella Syndicate is really all about, as you said, Doug, social proof, right? I mean, it's really about getting customers, getting people connected, getting the right people in touch with the right people.
Well, when Ken used to show up, so just so everybody understands, Ken is a guy that I knew from the DJ business, and he's owned a DJ and entertainment company for many, many years, several decades, as a matter of fact. And recently, I would say within the last 5 years or so, I just started seeing him show up at every event with a camera, and I kept thinking, this is weird. I didn't realize that Ken was a photographer, and the events would also have a photographer there too. So ultimately, what ended up happening was at some event, I think I went up to him and asked him, "Why are you taking photos?" He goes, "Social proof." And I said, "Well, I don't even know. Do you know what social proof is, Strick?"
No, I don't.
So, I mean, basically what it comes down to is people don't believe in general what goes on and what's legit unless there is proof. And it's not just proof like as in, let me see a picture of it, but it's proof as in, hey, I'd like to see what that actually is all about, but I'd also like to hear from somebody that's actually used what they're doing, what this service is, and has a positive remark to say. Social proof is what makes social media so strong. I mean, you could post a photo of someone that's doing, wonderful things in the community. But unless you're actually showing that and having people talk about it and having like third-party testimonials, people don't necessarily believe in social proof unless they actually can see social proof, testimonials from other people, photos of what's going on. And that is a way to really amplify your message. And that's what the Umbrella Syndicate is all about.
Well, they're all about branding, production, publishing. They're book publishers too. I mean, it's really interesting. He's really branched out into a lot of things that are really all very interconnected. And we don't want to skip the promise statement because we did that on the show we recorded already.
Yeah. Why do we do that? We seem to do that.
We just forget.
we do. We're very forgetful people.
Shiny object syndrome. We talk about that a little bit more tomorrow.
Yeah. The promise statement right here is to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. Hopefully we're being able to do that with each and every one of what episode number is this one, Strick? Do you know?
Oh my gosh, 290 or so, I think. Oh my gosh, something like that.
So that means we're coming down on episode 300 really soon. So we have tried to prove that we are teaching you and entertaining you for the last 290 some episodes, and hopefully we have done that. If you feel like we have hit that mark, or if we haven't hit that mark, could you just let us know? At DJ Doug is me. At Nice Guy on Biz with a Z is Strickland's Twitter account. So feel free to reach out to either one of us, although I think you'll have a much better shot of reaching anybody if you actually talk to me.
Yeah, definitely true.
Probably so. So that's the Nice Guys on Business promise statement. So I think we should just get to our interview. Do you think so?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Let's get on with Mr. Ken Rochon.
Our guest today, I would consider probably the original nice guy. I think somewhere around 94 or 1995, I was introduced to Ken Rochon when I was still working my 9-to-5 mortgage gig. Boy, that was a horrible time in my life. And DJing part-time. And I thought that Ken was just this guy running a business and hustling like the rest of us. Then I went to his office. I talked to his staff and was feeling like there's no way this guy could have this many fans that work for him. I wasn't used to a leader like that. I'd come from an environment where it was completely toxic, and I did not enjoy the environment. Not from the mortgage business, I love that, but from other lives that I had led. So he's a world traveler, he's a dad, a hardworking guy, and the founder of a company called, or an organization called, the Umbrella Syndicate. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast, my friend Ken Rochon.
Thank you, Doug. I've been so excited about getting on your show. You've done such an amazing job with this message, and I think you've inspired and had a ripple effect that will probably be unmeasurable. So awesome job on that.
I would like to measure it, though. Is there a way that we could possibly, do you have a yardstick that we could measure the impact that I've made? You probably do. Knowing you, Ken, you probably have figured out how do you measure this, because I know you're a big guy with analytics.
Well, I'm a big proponent of analytics, but you've had such an indirect effect. I don't know if it is measurable, but I will say that the percent at which you would find people say that you made a difference in their life, I probably could safely say you could multiply that by 100 or so.
Wow!
I mean, you've done an amazing job. I've loved following you. The fact that you're up to over 250 episodes, I mean, you put on quality people. People love being on your show, and you have a way of really keeping this message alive. So I commend you for it.
Where is the Ken Rochon that I know and love that would razz me and just completely throw me in the can every once in a while?
Well, I first of all, I thought we agreed the first half of the show was me being nice, and the second half was me not being nice. So that's coming in the second half. And then the second thing with the nice guy thing, I was even going to skew it to only a couple minutes of razzing.
Okay. Well, and I appreciate that. So you gave me a perfect lead into the question that I actually wanted you to answer, which was help me spread the love and make it simple. What's really your definition of being a nice guy?
I think I've heard it several times that really being a nice guy is doing the things that you would normally do to be nice without any recognition or needing to have anyone see that you're doing it. It's just a natural state. And I think it's just treating people the way you want to be treated. It's
so true, so true. And you, honestly, when I first visited your company back in, I guess it had to have been the mid-'90s, because it was before I developed the relationship with the agency that I'm with, Washington Talent, and well before that. So I just remember walking around your office and just all of these people just, yeah, Ken is a great, people behind the back of the boss, oftentimes they will say not great things. Yeah, he's great when he's here, or he's good if you like an asshole, or it's like, whatever. But, I didn't get that vibe. I didn't get that feeling. I didn't feel anything. So how is it that you can grow an organization? Because you're a good example of this. How can you grow an organization and not be an iron-ruled leader?
Well, good question. I think the way I've always designed a company is I looked at three components of it. One is, would I hire it? The second, would I work for it? And the third is, would I be proud to own it? And being proud to own it is that you'd have lots of reviews from your customers that show that you care about creating raving fans. And then retention is everything. It's also loyalty, and it's also efficient. I mean, if you keep people with you, they grow with you. And as long as you take care of them, you actually probably get more value, and they get more value than if there was a dissolvement or a problem. So I think the weekly meetings and really understanding what their potential was and figuring out how we could reach that potential, I think really got people excited, because we awarded wins and we wanted it to be a positive environment. I won't say that it was always that way. I mean, when you're looking at building a business as aggressively as we were, you got to go through the hiccups of learning how to empower teams. And so if you're committed to it, though, it will happen.
No, and
sure.
It's 100% correct on that one. So you created this company, this organization called the Umbrella Syndicate. So can you explain a little bit, because it is not, you can't really determine exactly what you guys do. It's not like you say, I'm the, I'm the whatever HVAC rep. What is Umbrella Syndicate? What do you do?
Well, first of all, I wasn't prepared for hard questions. I thought this was going to be like a podcast where it's just like really fluffy.
Okay, hold on a second. Do you want to get? I can come off the rails pretty easily. Nice Guy Community knows that very much. But I figured, all right, well, I'll just give it like you. I was going to leave the first half to be straight and the second half to just total fuckery. Whatever you're looking for, man.
I love the fact that you've already dropped some profanity in the Nice Guy podcast, and you'd warned me that it does happen on a regular. So I'll try and drop one sometime between now and the end of the episode. I've actually never.
Okay.
Well, I feel a little compelled. Compelled because you've kind of made it cool to drop some F-bombs or something.
You are welcome to.
In answer to your question, it's actually it's something that's very sentimental and close to my heart. My mom had Alzheimer's, and when she was affected by Alzheimer's for 3 years, and I helped my dad with the caretaking, I really analyzed life and what I was doing with it, and I wasn't really impressed with what I would have on my tombstone when I had to go to the pearly gates or another place. And so I just really had a conversation with God that really lasted quite a while. I thought it would be quick. I'd say, hey, God, what should I do with this? And he would give me an answer, but that did not happen right away. So I came up with that people like you are making a positive difference in the world. And if I could support people like you, that would be my way of making a difference in the world. And if I did enough of that with enough leaders, that the syndicate would become a known place that you could go that's safe, that you could have your message amplified, and that a positive impact would always come out of it. I had a gentleman share with me that his goal in life was that he would leave people better off than they were before they met him. So the Umbrella Syndicate really embraces that message. And really, when we met originally in the 90s, I had that from probably a subconscious level, but with the Umbrella Syndicate, it became a very conscious level of serving and finding people that serve the world but don't necessarily know how to get their message out, that they're doing so. And not to make this answer too long, but there are so many leaders that have this beautiful heart, beautiful message, beautiful intention, but their marketing, and their social media, and their social proof is so lacking that they get frustrated and they feel, gosh, I guess I'm not that good at that. And it has nothing to do with their skill set. It has to do with the missing ingredient, which is marketing distribution. And distribution.
100% agree with that. And what's really key about what you're saying, and this ties into another part of the business that you're in too, I know just from personal experience, is that when it comes to writing a book, I'll just use my own personal experience. When it comes to writing a book, I thought when I wrote a book, if the book is good, it will sell. And that is not even close to the reality. A book is probably about 20% writing skills and 80% marketing and getting it out there. And then, yes, it needs to be a good book, but you have to have the right bounce out there in the world. And you talk about this thing a lot in your organization called social proof. I mean, for us, it sounds like a buzzword, but I can promise you it's the real deal and the key to success on really any level, no matter what you're trying to amplify. So spend a moment, tell the audience, tell the Nice Guy community about what social proof is and how that fits into your bigger picture and this whole book thing as well.
Glad to. And the segue I'd like to make from your last comment is I, too, was in the facade that if I write my book in 2009 called Becoming the Perfect Networker, that the world was waiting for it. And boy, was I surprised when my 13,000 network of my own perfect network organization bought I think well under 10 copies. It was a dismal amount.
How about?
And I thought, wow, how exciting! I had all these people say, "Can't wait for your book." Well, they couldn't wait for my book to be free, or they couldn't wait for me to mail it to them, or whatever. But
how about the guy that and again, I'll hit on my great vast network as well. I had literally, I think 8 or 9 people that were in the that I put in the acknowledgement section.
Right.
One bought my book. I'm like, are you kidding me? Guys, so I sent them all copies of the book free. I said, all I need you to do is review the book. Just put a review out. You know how critical reviews are on Amazon when you first put them out there. Not one fucking person reviewed my book. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? I put you in the acknowledgments. I know. I told my mother, I said, Mom, you got to acknowledge. She was the one that reviewed the book, though. So
she did?
Yeah, she did. She eventually caved and she reviewed it. She gave me 1 star, though. I didn't appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, so social proof is important. And you're right. What happens to your network? They disappear until it's free.
Right. And the reason for that is because you haven't made an impression that even deserves their $20. And once you do, then they support it. And it's a lot of work, as you know. And I'm a big proponent of the Malcolm Gladwell series, from Tipping Point to Blink to Outliers. And I've really run my life for the Umbrella Syndicate part of my life as don't complain about how much effort it is. Don't complain how many hours you're putting in. If you're committed to this and you believe in it, it's going to shift, it's going to tip, and it's going to turn into a social proof campaign. And as you know, most people are very ineffective with their social media campaigns is because they do 30 days at best of a half-hearted effort of throwing up some stuff about, hey, I did this book, and the world's like, okay, someone else did a book, who cares? And we're right now at 800 5-star reviews on the Umbrella Syndicate, and I will tell you, I just met someone last night, and we went through the reviews only for the last week, which was roughly, 10 or 15 reviews, a really good week of reviews. Yeah. And what I've learned to do now is I start my conversations in a sales presentation. I start my conversations on stage. And this is something I think is probably the most valuable thing I can share on your podcast.
Do it, man.
Because if you are committed to 5-star service, you will eventually have 5 stars that demonstrate that you're committed to it, right? So if you talk to a potential client, a prospect, in a meeting, and you say, hey, where'd you hear about us? Did you, by any chance, see any of our reviews? And you have a substantial amount, let's call it 50 to 500 reviews that show that you're committed to 5-star service, and they see it, there's a shift in the meeting. That's one shift right there, because there's social proof that they can look at later, and there's social proof that they can actually just say, well, hold on a second, I know that person. Especially if you pick a mutual friend, that's just really powerful.
Right.
And then you say, this is the magic spin on the opening presentation of your meeting. You say, hey, Doug, I'd like to know how to get a 5-star review from you. What would I need to do to get a 5-star review from you for the service I'm going to provide? That turned it into not prospect anymore. We're doing business. And it's a verbal we're doing business, and it's even on a conscious and subconscious level. But the conversation moving forward would be we're working together. And it's magical. It's very magical.
It is a magical moment, because a couple things happen during that shift. All the pressure comes off of you, and you're no longer worried about how do I close a deal. And that's maybe not even part of what your agenda is anyways. Sometimes you just go into the meeting saying, hey, it'd be nice to have this person as a client. But at the same time, there's a lot of pressure on you to present, to make sure there's features and benefits, and do all that, and dealing with their objections. And at some level, it now just becomes a conversation about how can I help you solve some of the problems that are going on in your life or in your business, and that is really, as you said, when it just there's no you don't feel like there's an agenda anymore. There's just a matter of just having a conversation.
Right, and when the customer receives all that power, they acknowledge you by having free will. Like they now know that they can choose, and there's no stress. That when you empower, like if you have a complaint and you empower the client to say, tell me how I can make this right, and you do that, all of a sudden the client will have mercy because they have power.
Yeah,
So I love that shift that happens, but they also give you the answers. There's so many aspects of this piece, and then the more important part, which I absolutely love the most, which you addressed earlier, was with objections. Yeah, is that they will agree that if you've satisfied 50 people out of 50 people, that you're only committed to solving the problem and getting a 5-star review. It doesn't really matter what their question would be. So if they said, well, would you stay an extra hour? Or can I have an extra lapel mic? Or would you give books to everyone that wins a prize? I mean, all these things are answerable that you want a 5-star review. And the answer a lot of times is obviously yes, because you want the customer. But you just add, and that would only cost you. Or,
right. They're not saying that they won't do it if it costs them more money. And sometimes you got to look at your customers and look at your track record and look at your level of service. It is not always about the money. People always think, well, I didn't get that deal because of the money. No, there's something else. There's got to be. It's very rarely about the money. Maybe you didn't answer their problem, or maybe you didn't really do what you were saying you were going to do, but it's very rarely about the problem. Do you feel the same way, or is it?
Not only do I feel the same way, but sometimes people have too low a price, and the customer doesn't see how you're going to be able to accomplish the goal for that little price, so they actually move to the person that could actually confidently do it for the right price and make them feel good about it.
I want to move on to another subject for a second, if it's okay. You really spend some time in your business talking about things going viral. From a marketing perspective, obviously that is like the kingpin. It's just, hey, how do you get things to go viral? You put some level of attainability on getting things to go viral. People always think, I don't know if there's some reality there. So can you Can you put some proof behind, some social proof behind the reality of things going viral?
Sure. If you talk about how great you are, you're going to lose the world and the audience very quickly, because that's the expected piece. But when something goes viral and everyone's saying this is cool, or this is the buzz, or this is worth talking about, you can actually step aside and let them do the magic of marketing you. And if you'd like to hear, I guess, the ingredients of a viral campaign, I studied this pretty extensively the first year I was doing the Umbrella Syndicate. If I don't know the ingredients, I can't repeat it. And rinse and repeat is the strongest way to build a business. You know, when you have it working, you just do it again and again and again.
Yep.
So going back to that 5-star review, not to backtrack too far, but if you find the variables that your business needs to have a score of a 5 or a 10, depending on what your scale is, and you can scientifically get those variables to be that number every time, you can safely ask every client, hey, can you write a review? And they're automatically going to go through their mind. They're going to say, well, they were a level 10 DJ, their equipment sounded fantastic, and they had all the music I wanted, and the dance floor was full. Sure, I'll write you a review. Right?
Okay. Yep.
So with a viral campaign, you have 4 ingredients again, and those ingredients are excellent content, excellent distribution. And that's the thing that's usually missing, by the way. And ironically, the other thing that's usually missing is speed of relevance. Like, if the content that you were speaking on stage can't be proven the next day, and you prove it a week or 2 later, you've lost that audience that was going to go to your page and check you out.
Yep, I got it.
And then just new blood, so new audiences. So I use the metaphor of a cup of coffee. When I'm on stage, I say, imagine a viral campaign or a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee, you need a bean, quality coffee beans, quality filtered hot water, cream, and sugar. And if you just elected to have the hot filtered water and the coffee bean, you'd at least have coffee, but some would argue that's not worth drinking. And so a viral campaign with just content and distribution will work. I mean, they need to be married together for them to explode. And powerful distribution with bad content is noise. And
say that again. Say that again, because that is so true. Say it again.
So powerful content with bad content. I'm sorry. Powerful distribution with bad content is noise.
Right.
And powerful content with bad distribution is secret. So
that is so good. Yeah. So
when we add the I call people the cream of the cream of the world, the cream of the earth. And so when you add that cream in every single day, you're not depending on an old audience that keeps having attrition issues. So you have this new blood that's constantly resurging, that your distribution power is growing, not getting deflated. And then speed of relevance, I find to be the funniest thing, but it's the real reason I got in this business. And I love photographers. I mean, most of my friends before I started the Umbrella Syndicate honestly were photographers. I can't really say that right now because I don't think photographers really understand me or what I was trying to do for them or why they were still very important.
I know what you mean.
But I started this business because I asked a very simple question. I couldn't answer the question with why not, and so is why can't a photo just be up the next day? If you take a great photo or you take a great event, why can't you just put some photos up the next day? And believe it or not, 5 years ago this was unheard of. I promise you.
No, I get it. I totally get it. And I know you would irritate people when you'd go in with your camera when there was a photographer already at that event, and they would get pissed because you're like, it's almost like you're beating them to the punchline. I don't even understand it.
And what was funny is I was photographing the photographer and giving credit to the photographer, but then the photographer got even more mad because they were like, you're getting credit for the photos. I go, no, I'm not. I'm actually giving you credit that you were there. I just took some photos as a marketer or an advertiser. And the reason the Umbrella Syndicate is not focused on photography is because I consider photography content. We just had to get our own content because we could rarely get it from a photographer or videographer. And by the way, I'm not putting these people down.
No, totally. I get it.
I cannot tell you how much I love that art and that craft and the technical aspect of it. And by the way, I'm not even a technical person. When these photographers ask me, so what setting do you have it on? I go, auto, and they're like, you got to be kidding me. It's not to make fun of photography. I mean, there is such an amazing science to it. I love the art side of it, and so I depend on my ability to paint the picture later and to market the picture better the next day.
So just so everybody knows, so when we talk about speed of relevance, I'm assuming that you are making sure that photo that you just took is really is creating the relevance, the speed at which you get it online and in a social environment. You're just saying, hey, I was here, I'm marketing this, and this is just a part of the overall campaign. It's just this, because if I waited for the photographer, it'd be out a week later.
Right, or months later possibly. And then the other thing that's interesting about this is photographers are trained to take what I'll call the perfect picture. social media photographers, which I put myself in that realm, are actually more concerned with taking the imperfect picture.
Yeah.
Because imperfection is humanity, and it relates. Like, that's why Instagram works so well.
Well, there's a level of relatability, vulnerability, transparency, all the buzzwords that we have.
Yeah, and realness and rawness and all that kind of stuff. Exactly.
Right.
And so it's funny when I shoot and I do not try to make it perfect, and then I do the post-production, I make it too strong or too weak or too whatever. It's too off, and that off is appealing. And people relate to it because they go, that's really cool. It wasn't expected. And in social media, you do what's not expected. So, and the other thing about a photographer's telling the full story. Social media photographers got no patience. They have ADD. They got to get in, get out. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but when I go to an event, you can look around about 2 martinis later and I'm gone. You know, like.
No, I'm like, where did Ken go? He's gone. He's gone. He's trying to post all the shit that he just took. He's got to get out of here.
Exactly. But I thought that I was doing a service to photographers and videographers, and I think I did. I don't think they ever landed. I mean, I think I really did, because the more they saw or the more they learned about this, I think the more they actually adjusted their game and got more social media savvy. But NACE, for instance, where I got to see you quite a few times, I was concerned about growing NACE and giving value to the members that attended NACE, and I knew that by the time the photos went up and I looked at the distribution power, which was honestly, it was under 30 a lot of times.
Yeah.
How are you going to grow an organization with a talking about of 30?
You can't.
So our talking about is roughly 45,000 a week, and that's called post engagement. And you can go on the insights of Facebook. I have almost 200 people that are admins. I think I've made you an admin. I'm happy.
I know. I had to call you to tell you. Hey,
yeah, you said, hey, listen, I just don't want any more information about these.
I'm like, why am I administrator on this? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting like 27 photos a day, and I love getting them. The problem was that I was taking half of my day and just focused on looking at your videos or your pics, and it was. Oh gosh, I gotta stop this and stop the insanity.
Well, the underlying reason I did that, Doug, was I really wanted to be on this podcast, and I said, if I can keep saturating with all these photos, he's going to say, "All right, already, you can get on the podcast."
No, you were coming on anyway. I mean, that's the best part about it.
You mean I didn't need to do all that work?
No, you could have done like a quarter, like 10% of the work. But again, it's you really did over deliver on all that stuff. What's great about what you're saying is it all ties back into this is how you run your business. You're doing inside your organization what you're doing for your customers. Also, you want to make sure that their message is amplified, their brand is seen, they're top of mind, and there is social proof attached to all of that. So. Without technology, though, would you still have a business? Would it be in a different format?
It would be very hard. I don't even know if it would work.
Yeah.
The $1 billion platform of Facebook was my in my business model as the investment I didn't need to make that I had made in Perfect Networker that was a huge financial flop. Can we talk about publishing, which I know is not maybe on the format?
Go. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Because we're talking about what works and what doesn't work, and it's funny, but publishers, as you know, for the most part, are printers, and because they don't have a social media prowess or a marketing prowess, they're more in the printing and maybe some strategy. But it's funny, but a lot of people that pick a publisher to write a book, they forget to look them up on social media. And there's 2 parts to that. One is, do they have a presence? And 2, do they have any proof that they do a great job?
My publisher calls me to ask me questions about social media.
Right.
because I'm looking at every one of the books that they have published, and they have maybe 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 reviews, and I have 105 or 108 or whatever it was as of last count. And I think the question from a lot of the authors that are going through that publisher are, what's going on? Why? How are you out? Because I'm thoroughly engaged with my audience. I think that's part of the game as well.
It is, and so I think the recommendation I'm making, because I just got off the phone with someone this morning that put a lot of money into a publisher, and some of these people put $30,000 into their publisher,
which is crazy.
And then I look them up on social media, and they have under 1,000 likes, and they have like 4 people talking about it. I mean, this is a real situation that happened today. And the woman said, "No wonder." And I said, yeah, but here's the deal. Moving forward, whenever you're making decisions about paying for marketing and PR, if you want to call me as a mentor, I can do some social media checking, but you can too. Just look at their talking about and look at the review system. If those 2 things are so weak, how can they do it for you if they can't do it for themselves?
Well, but what are they paying the dollars for? Just for the production of the book? It doesn't cost you $30,000 to have a book published.
Not at all. Not at all. And by the way, this is a higher figure. A lot of people pay between 5 and 15, and that's also high. But that's also high if it's not including some real marketing and launching. It is, honestly.
Well, and it really does. It does come down to, I don't care if you have a book that is scrawled out on on 150 sheets of notebook paper and mass produced by a copy machine. If you have a good marketing program behind you, you can take it would be, what's it called? You said it's called noise if you have a great distribution system,
right?
But horrible content. You need to have a good book, but you also need to have a great distribution system, and you have to be able to market this thing properly on social media: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, wherever it is that you, Snapchat, wherever it is that you go, YouTube. You've got to have that behind you. If you are doing this half-assed, as we say on the Nice Guy community, I'm going to do this full-assed, or I'm not going to do this at all. Full-ass it into the social media side of things, or you are just not. Your book is just going to land flat, no matter how good, no matter if it's a Simon & Schuster or not.
Well, you came up with something I'm going to ponder actually, and see if there's an analytical to this, because I had just recently, in the last 5 or 6 months, come up with this new theory of how I would propose marketing with a book. I said, whatever you're going to put out for your book, let's say it's $5,000, divide it in half and make half of it your marketing and social media budget. And when you just said 80%, I have to say that there's probably not only a lot of truth to that, but at what percent exponential growth would your book have if it had 80% instead of 50%? And I think it's going to be pretty high, honestly.
And I actually think it's more of your, there's going to be a money investment, but there's a huge time investment too.
No doubt. Yeah, it's ROE, ROI. And you and I are both DJs, so let me give a DJ example, and you tell me if I'm on point with this. If you are a DJ that is only good and maybe even almost great, but your marketing and business sense is like phenomenal, you're going to fail.
I mean, you're going to
right.
no. If your marketing and business sense is phenomenal and you're an okay DJ, you're going to soar. You're going to be the best DJ in the world.
Right. Because first of all, your marketing and your business sense will cause your practice that you're doing as a DJ to just keep getting better and better and better. Whereas the guy who is phenomenal, I mean, honestly, phenomenal talent, but no one knows about him because his marketing sucks. He doesn't have great customer service. We know these guys.
We know these guys. It's everybody that's in our industry that says, I can't wait for my show, my 4 hours of my show. And I said, dude, you were fucking nuts. How about the year and a half that it takes to plan this damn event? How about getting your client to fall in love with you and promote you and
well, I love the subcontractor who calls me and says, hey, I'm looking for some work. And I go, can you send me recommendations of what you've been doing? He goes, no, that's why I'm calling. I need some work.
It's like, okay, there's the social proof right there. You're calling a guy that owns a social proof company. Fucking tell me what you're doing that's good.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's the way it is in every business. The guy that knows how to repair cars does not understand. It's not just about how do you get under the car. It's about how do you treat the market that's around you? How do you get your message out on the street? How are you an expert? Are you blogging about cars? Are you doing YouTube videos about cars? Are you on social media talking about cars? Are you the expert in your industry? Until you're the expert in the industry, if you're falling flat as the expert in the industry, we got to talk about something else. There may be a different technique or something you got to use. But if you're just good at what you do and you don't spread the word and you're not helping the word get out there and helping it go viral for you, then you're just going to fall flat, as so many of the guys in our world and every industry do.
And the problem that some of these people have is they're habit bound. They will not leave the habits that they have to learn how to do it the right way. So if I was not getting to be considered the expert, you got to work for the expert, and you got to work for the expert to copy what they do because it works.
100%. Great stuff. Okay, let's I want to get to one or two more questions, and then I have this rapid fire round of stuff I want to do, because I think that you would really excel at this, because I can't wait to hear all the shit show of answers that you give me. So,
right. And can you tell me, is there like a little buzz thing or a ringtone that's going to happen when I'm supposed to shift over to be a jerk? Because I'm waiting for that.
No, go ahead and make the shift. We'll do it right now. We'll do it now. You can actually. Well, before you do that, spend just a moment talking about the smile movement, because I love this idea, and then right after that, that, you can be a complete asshole.
I'll tell you what, that would have been the meanest thing ever if you'd said, I need you to shift and really be a jerk. Are you committed to that? And I go, yes. I go, no, I want you to really commit. Okay, now can you talk about the Keep Smiling movement?
Well, talk about the movement, and then we'll work on you being a jerk.
Okay. So the Keep Smiling movement is a gentleman named Barry Shore. He's like 70 years old. Is one of those guys that if you meet him or you just get into a room that he's in, he'll just pull you in because he's such a beautiful spirit. And I met this guy, and I couldn't believe he was for real. He really gave me a Keep Smiling card, and I go, okay, and what's the hook? He was like, no, I wanted you to smile. And I'm like, well, I love to smile. And he goes, good, because that'll really change the world. And I said, okay, what are you doing with this? And he says, I'm trying to give 20 million of these away by the year 2020. I said, okay, help me out with this, And the more I looked into it, the more I said, I love this. And I realized when I traveled everywhere in the world, and people would say, this is a dangerous area. You're not going to like the French because they're assholes and all this other stuff. By the way, I used a cuss word, by the way. I used a cuss word.
Nicely done. Nicely. Wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. I rang the bell.
So I realized when I came back, went to France, and I came back from France, I had nothing but great things to say to them. But it was the same thing as always. Same. If you smile and you treat people great, that's what you get back.
If you just try. How about if you just try? I think that the biggest concern, the biggest complaint I've heard about Americans in France is that you come over thinking it's like America. I'm like, just try to say hello in French. Just struggle through it. Somebody will help you, I promise. Just be nice.
Well, it's kind of funny that you give that example because the French are actually the most snobbish people in the world when it comes to trying to speak their language. I mean, they're really harsh on you, but the smile part, though, does pass through that, and they see the spirit of you. And so if you butcher their language, they kind of get offended, quite frankly, and no other language or culture is actually so adamant about you speaking it perfectly or ignoring you if you say it wrong. Like they just go, like you say, je voudrais, and they're like, he misspelled that a little bit. I don't know what the heck he said, and they'll just like, but your point is actually taken, though. If the right people seeing you try will. But the Chinese are actually the best. If you can actually say ni hao, they're like, oh my God, this guy, man, he's actually really trying to speak our language. Do you know there's more Chinese that speak English than there are people
Oh boy, are you kidding me? Really?
It's amazing. And so the question you had about the Keep Smiling movement is that I believe that every one of us that have a bad day every once in a while, and that's what puts good days in perspective. But how long you have that bad day has a lot to do with how you're able to take your mind and shift things to attract the universe into being convinced that you want the good day to happen, the powerful day to happen, not more of the same. So when you're in a bad mood or you're having a bad day, you can live it, and as long as you want, and you'll continue to live it until you actually find something to smile about. And once you smile, you start shifting yourself, and all of a sudden, good things start coming to you. So the Keep Smiling movement really caused me to get excited about the Umbrella Syndicate at a whole other level, because smiling obviously is the spirit that comes out of the eyes that you capture, that we can show people at their best light in the Umbrella Syndicate as leaders. So it was a great compliment. And this guy, Barry Shore, gave me as many cards as I wanted. He said that because I've been doing this on social media, that he's mailing out up to 10,000 cards a week, free by the way, to people that want to hand them out. He's really committed to this being 20 million cards. And so what I told him was, well, what's your social media plan on this? He goes, huh? And I said,
yeah, he was like, yeah, I don't know technology.
And I said, I would like to volunteer to be the movement part of this, the social media movement. And I said, how about we name it the Keep Smiling movement? Because when I looked up Keep Smiling, it didn't exist. When I looked up Keep Smiling movement, it obviously didn't exist. And so I put it on social media, and with all these photos, it's just like anything that I've done with publishing. I look at it and I say, there's a lot of content here. What could I make? And I decided to make a Keep Smiling book. And you're obviously in the DMV Keep Smiling book. And I'm proud to have you in that book because of who you are as a leader, a person, a speaker, and also your message about good guys finish first. I don't think people realize that having the integrity and sticking to the integrity, in the end, you'll be rewarded for it.
I think so, too.
I had a woman last night that was not happy because the last 3 months I have not dissed her on purpose, but she asked for some addendums to a contract, and they were not being done by my folks. And it was embarrassing that these little addendums could not be put in place. And it was so simple to do. I called her on the phone, and we had a great conversation. And then we went back to the beginning when she signed the contract and all this stuff. And I said, there were some things you asked to be done, And I could have made money on them. And you remember, I never said I would charge you for it. I said, this is all taken care of. She goes, yeah, Ken, you've always been someone I could trust. And we immediately got back to ground zero and launching again. But when you are a good person, like it's so easy to try and nickel and dime people. When you do that, you're hurting your integrity because they know that you're doing that.
Yeah, I think it's, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say the Keep Smiling movement is really about resonating your spirit with full intention and integrity to connect with people, and that's what I love about it.
We got to get a link to the Keep Smiling movement on the show notes. So I don't know if I have that as a part of the information that you had sent over. I know can they get to it just by going to the Umbrella
Well, not to
Syndicate?
nickel and dime you, but if you send me $20, I'll send you.
Oh, I got it. Sure, no problem. I got it. I'm going to do it. How about if I send you 30? I don't think 20 is quite enough. All right, let's get on to the Q&A part here. Feel free to put on your asshole hat now if you choose to. This because all of the answers are actually going to be about you anyway. So I feel like this would be a good opportunity for you to shift gears now. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and then I have a personal question after all of that is said and done. Take off of your owner or founder of this Umbrella Syndicate for a moment and put on an entrepreneur's hat and answer the questions. Give yourself a few seconds. I'll do my best not to step on you, but I'll probably end up screwing that up anyway. All right, so are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, cool. All right, so be relatable, Ken. What do you suck at?
That's none of your business.
You really are being an asshole now. Is that going to be the answer to all of your questions?
I actually suck at a lot of things, and not to make this a long answer, but when you really focus on being great at one thing, you're probably suffering a lot of others. So I suck at details. I'm a visionary person, so I really do not do well with details.
Okay, that's good. Be transparent. How did you pay your bills when you couldn't, or maybe you've always paid your bills? No.
I credit carded probably every investment I've done. Every business I built, I credit carded, and almost to the hilt every time.
And what advice would you give? This is kind of as an offshoot to that question. What advice would you give to people that are putting debt on the credit cards for their business?
Well, if you're not a good marketer, you're probably going to lose your investment. I think that the more your marketing ability and social media ability suffers, the more you need an accountant and lawyer to protect what you're going to be investing. Yeah. Now, if you're a great marketer and social media person, I still think you need to talk to those people. But putting money into accounting and legal is the best investment you can make. But you have to find out, social proof-wise, that these people are really effective. Because that's a very important thing.
All right, be confident. What do you do as an entrepreneur? I'm really curious about this answer because I think that this is the area where I don't ever know if you're 100% I can never tell the business Ken from the personal Ken from the joker Ken. So be confident. What do you do as an entrepreneur that's as good as it gets?
I think delivering content in a honest, in a powerful way on social media so people look good.
Okay. Yeah, it's really hard. People don't know how to do that. People really just don't know how to do that. Again, I don't want to go off into an offshoot there, but I think that people they're really good at what they do. Many people that are listening, in the Nice Guy community, I know that you know your business really well. The problem that people have is they don't know how to market themselves really well in order to get more business coming in or a different level of business coming in so that they can really, really excel at what they do. Okay.
And have fun at what they do.
And have fun at it too. Yeah, you're right. Be humble. What experts do you need to call upon to make shit happen when shit's not happening?
People like you. I need to call people to get actions done, details done. I need a lot of support. We have 6 arms to the Umbrella Syndicate. 3 are typically very active: the publishing, the photography, and the social media component of it. And there's too many opportunities coming. So having a team that really is ready to volley all these opportunities and follow through with the actions. If it wasn't for these people in my team, it would only be a dream, and that's it.
I think what you just said is so apropos. It's not just the doing the actions, but it's following through. It's the let me actually get the addendum out. It's that follow up phone call to folks to actually put into action the stuff that you say that you're going to do. Last one here. Be realistic. Where do you think you're going to be in the next 90 days, and how far into the future can you see?
Our plan for next year may not be realistic, but I'm going to live into that plan, which means I'll get a proportion of that growth. I want to have 100 photographers across the United States that when a book like Nice Guys Finish First is coming out, like a second edition, for instance, I can say to you, hey, Doug, where would you like this to show up across the United States? I have photographers that would like to take it to events. So that's a really big thing I'd like to push for. I apparently have 40 offers to do international speaking next year, all verbal at this point, but I'm hoping that I can get to at least half of them next year and just develop more affiliate programs. I think it's really important that with all the traffic I have, maximizing that traffic so it converts and helps 3 people, the person I'm doing the affiliate program with, obviously the umbrella syndicate, and then the people that may not know where they can go or where they can market themselves better in order to be more successful.
Yeah, good stuff, man. And how far do you think you can see into the future? Are you you called yourself in the first part of this a visionary? So tell me, how far out there can you see what's going on with your life and your business?
Well, when I started the Umbrella Syndicate, I had studied Facebook since 2006. I launched in 2011. So I did predict Facebook would be as strong as it is now. I probably would say I get a little weak after about 5 years out, but I do really try and look 5 years out.
Gosh, that's crazy. I mean, I got about 90 days, and then, things start to break down. It's not that I don't have a goal, or maybe I don't have a goal. It's I think what happens is when a new project or a new opportunity presents itself to me, I look at the priority of that, and I say, okay, I think that this is better than what I'm actually working on right now, and I should not dump what I'm doing, but I think we should split off a little bit and try this other thing too. It's very hard for me. I can't get beyond. I can't see that bright spot in the future.
Well, I'll tell you something that might help you. This might help you. I don't know if it will, but when I did the Umbrella Syndicate, my vision was that the end result was that it helped leaders be more powerful in the world. So it was very vague, actually. Mm-hmm. And so it was molded every single year. So the first year was, do I have the ingredients that even could scientifically show that there's more amplification of good messages and stronger leadership prowess or marketing. And then the second year, can you monetize it? And like this, and because I was so focused on likes, because I thought likes in volume would turn into cash. They don't.
But
that was a learning lesson. That was a 1-year study of that. And then I learned about engagement. Now, engagement, there is a degree of it, but you have to really know what you're doing with engagement in order for it to turn into cash. But one that I finally evolved to, and I'm not saying that this is the end-all be-all, because there's always the next thing, but this social proof thing with getting reviews, it has a very strong connection to cash, extremely strong connection to cash.
Well, much more of a connection to cash than likes and engagement, because we went through this process, and I'm 100% agreeing with you. It's almost like get out of my head for a second. Yeah, yeah. The likes and the follows and the posts and the shares and all that. That's great. When you get to the next step, which is engagement, amazing also. And now you start to have this really fine community that you've put together. But then that third critical link is, okay, now how do you convert that to cash? That's the thing that eludes most people.
And you know what I think the problem is that when you get all this social proof, believe it or not, most people don't even know how to market the social proof, and that is the funny part of it. Like, they get all these reviews, and then they're sitting with them. It's like, tell the world, show the world. And that's why I said in the beginning of this conversation is I ask my client, my prospect, right out of the gate, where did you hear about us? Have you seen our reviews? It's a quick jump to the proof that you're going to be doing business with us.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's a probably I'm saying this like as I'm learning it and thinking it, and I'm going to think more about it after I say this. But I think the reason likes don't work is you can buy them with no effort.
Well, they mean nothing. Exactly. They mean nothing.
And now, but check this out. Engagement, you can buy too, but it's harder to buy. It's more expensive to buy, and you have to keep buying it. So that one has more relevant nature to a marketing piece. But reviews, you don't really buy reviews. I'm sure there's probably some hack that's thinking of a way that you can just dump a bunch of reviews. I'm sure you can buy a bunch of fake reviews, but the point is you can't market them.
Right.
That's the point. And I get excited when I can show the person hit their profile and say, this person is this caliber person. This is what they said about us. Like, I look for people that run huge events, and I get their referral and I get their testimony. The big thing now is video testimonials. I mean, I know that's it's a bit passé from a standpoint. This has been told to us for years, but right now this is the big kick. If you can get a video a day or a video a week, your business will explode.
Video is the way. Video is the way to go. I mean, everybody is involved with it right now. Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't think LinkedIn is involved with it yet, but Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and Pinterest. I mean, everybody's got this. YouTube, definitely. So
yeah, I've heard about this YouTube.
Yeah, this YouTube phenomenon. It's going to be big. You trust me on this one. I looked at this 5 years ago. I said YouTube is going to be big. Hey, Ken, let me ask you just one more personal question, and then we'll wrap up the interview here. I told you it would run about 30 minutes, and we're now almost an hour into it. Remember when you sent me a message? I think an hour is a little bit long. Has this hour gone by quickly, or do I have to edit this down to 30 minutes?
No, it was beautiful, and you can even do a part 1, part 2, whatever you want to do.
So take out your cell phone. Do you have? Oh, well, you're on your cell phone right now, aren't you? Okay.
I am.
Do you have an iPhone or something inferior? What do you got?
I have an iPhone.
Okay, excellent. Go to the can you go to another app while you're on Skype at the same time?
Sure, I'll put you on speaker.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, go to your picture app.
Go to my picture app.
Yep, and tell me the last picture you took. This would be good for a guy that does a lot of photography.
Yeah, the last screenshot I took was for my flight to Speaking Empire next Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
But it was this of my son.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's it. A personal one is good. And go to your texting app for a second. And what is the last text message you sent and received? Aside from mine saying I'm going to be a couple minutes late.
Okay, that was it is from one of my team members. It's Daniel Osborne, and he is sharing information from the staff meeting they're doing right now.
Excellent. Did you had a chance to reply to him? Or you haven't replied to him yet because you're on the podcast.
Well, I told them that their staff meeting took more precedence than you, so they were supposed to interrupt me, and I didn't keep track of it because I was on the phone.
Because you're on your phone. That's right. Oh, totally get it. We will make sure we put all the information about the Umbrella Syndicate, and if you guys want to get a Nice Guy Community, if you want to get more information about Ken, it will be right in the show notes. While you are in the show notes, if you could just do me a favor and just click on the recommend button, it will be partly our social proof that the show is actually making good inroads into the world of nice. So, Ken Rochon, any final words of wisdom to impart to our Nice Guy community?
Well, I think the best thing is that share this message as much as possible because it causes more nice guys to step up to the plate and know that this is the way to live.
Amen. Thank you, Ken, and thank you for being a part of the show today. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of a good vocabulary, or never underestimate the power of nice. Special thanks again to Ken Rochon from the Umbrella Syndicate for being a part of the show today. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
Are you sure the legal department cleared this? Okay then. For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Hey, if these bozos want to get sued, that's their business. Leave me out of it. Wait, we have a legal department?